and I'm always running late, even for work. But I am so glad my boss is not here, so he won't know that. Anyways, today we decided to do tell ghost stories because it's October. It is my favorite month. It is my birthday month, so I'm excited for another day of getting, I don't know, freaking old. So, so I have two people joining the live. So it is our blank screen Christina and Julio.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's
How
up?
are you guys?
Fine, fine.
Doing well. Yeah.
Good.
So are you excited? You have any ghost stories to share?
Oh my god. I have a lot. What about you, Christina?
I Oh, me? Oh, Christina.
Oh,
You're the
Christina.
popular one.
I have paranormal activity, but I was telling Greg like none of it really scares me, and he's like, "Well, it's all in the way you tell it," and I'm like, "Yeah, but none of it like I don't even know how to tell it. I think I'm just gonna like I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys tell your stories because mine are just kind of like yeah, okay,
Okay, I'll
Uh,
take a nap.
yeah.
yeah, I'll take a nap,
No,
yawn
but
a little
I
bit.
think they still counts because it's the whole paranormal part that gets all of us excited. Well, at
Yeah.
least it
Okay,
gets
well then
me
I'll tell the
excited.
I'll tell the you hey, you know Allie, you know how I introduced you to my friend Allie? I'll tell the story about when she like came and lived with me in Texas and it like opened all these doors and like yeah, I'll talk about that because that was a little more intense.
Ooh, I would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went hunt.
Delayed reaction. Oh,
Well, I am a little
Weird.
distracted. I am a little
That sounds kind of
distracted.
weird.
I am a little distracted.
fine, forget it. I'm not even gonna say that.
Yeah. For me,
How many do you have, Julio? How
huh?
many stories
I
do
have a
you
lot.
have?
I have a lot of them. I have a lot of things that have been happening to me. A lot of things that, oh my god, what can I tell you? Movement of the bed, feeling like they're picking me up in the air and just dropping me down back to the bed, things like that. Yeah. Um, feeling deaf. That's the worstest one that I felt when I felt deaf. Went by me. Yeah, that was the scariest one. I've never felt it. And I'm like, I always say, I don't want to feel it no more. But yeah.
Well, here's a good one. Um, I actually went ghost hunting on the web,
Oh my god.
and I found a clip, and it's about Chris Watt. That's his name. The guy that
Mhm.
murdered his wife and two kids.
Okay.
And when they're doing the investigation and somebody's recording, you can see, and this is after the kids are dead. You can actually see his daughter in the background. So,
Mhm.
can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, and you
Yes.
see the video clip on the side?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to play it and pay close attention to a little door on the side. I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit before so you can see the child.
Though, just stuff you'd take for a quick trip.
See on that door that is green, you can see the little girl standing.
Does she work? Yeah, she works from home. Oh, from home?
So that's the killer. So the lady in green goes into the room, and after that shot, she comes out, and then you see the little girl.
Yeah.
You see her standing right there?
Yep.
Mhm. Yep.
And then you can see her walking by.
What does she do for work?
crazy.
And I know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's funny because there's more paranormal activity on the Netflix documentary. And when they
Hmm.
were doing the documentary, they didn't really um, catch that. So the people that have watched the documentary were actually the ones that were noticing all this stuff. So that was not a paranormal investigation. It was just a documentary about this guy's, tragedy that he committed. So I find it very interesting that paranormal just, it's literally around us and we don't notice it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It is. There. It's crazy. There's a lot of when I moved to this apartment right here. There was a lot of activity here at
Well,
night.
tell us one of your scariest moments of it. I would love to hear it. I'm
The
probably going to
scariest
sleep good
moment. You
tonight.
want? Okay, I'm gonna tell you the one that I felt death. That one's the scariest one. That was the one that really freaked me out. That really freaked me out. Well, I was in this office right now. Like this is my office. This is my home office right here, where I'm at. And I don't know. Let me see if you guys can. I'm gonna pick up the computer. I don't know if you can see that window over there, right there in the
Uh huh.
corner. Okay,
Blue
well,
with the blue curtains.
yeah. So what happened was I was here, working on my computer, like how I am right now. The big screen was in front of me. I was like, just sitting down here and just working on some stuff, homework, and then just then it was like midnight. No, I think like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and the room got so cold, really cold, like freezing cold, that you can breathe and you can see that little, how they show in the movies, that little cloud of the how
Yeah.
cold it was. It got so cold, and I felt it when it came in. It's like I could feel it. Something came in from the window, and it stood there in the back of me. But then it started walking down the hall. Over here, there's a door. It went down the hall, and this is the scariest part one, because that's when my little dog. I lost my little dog. I think it came for my dog, because supposedly in the Latino thing is, if you have an animal that loves you a lot, when it's your time, the dog rather choose him than you to go, because they're fighting between he comes, let's say if he comes for you, it would take, the dog will fight and say, take me better than him, because they were like really close, my uncle. So they I don't know what happened, just in seconds. I was like, okay, it was really cold, and I moved down there, and then I heard my little dog scream really loud, really loud,
Oh.
like a scary loud noise. And then after that, I felt it came back. The coldness came back, and I could feel the room so freezing cold, like a freezer. I'm telling you, you can, even your breath, you can see that little cloudness, and I can feel it that it stopped right here in the corner, and then it just went out the window again, and everything, all the temperature and everything went back to normal. I was like, what the, And that's when, honestly, that loud noise is when I guess it came for it, or it, because that's when I lost her. Yeah, I lost one of my dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. Hmm. But it was
Oh.
really, it turned like really freezing cold. That was like and I'm like,
That's
no,
usually in a lot of places is a sign of paranormal activity.
mm-hmm.
And that's funny you mentioned the coldness because usually hospitals that do like the services they do, like X-rays and stuff for the general public, are not open on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And my mom had an appointment to get X-ray for her bones, to
Mm-hmm.
see about her arthritis or whatever was going on. So we go to this hospital in San Mateo. It's not the general hospital, it's another hospital. And they have an x-ray machine and they have like certain amount of appointments for Saturday. And we're sitting there and all of a sudden my mom's like, it's getting really, really cold. And I was like, I don't feel anything. I really don't feel anything. She's feeling cold. And I took a deep breath and I felt someone walking down the hallway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the nurse comes out, she calls us in, so we go into this spot and they're doing the x-ray and my mom's constantly telling me, can you tell the nurse if can I get a blanket? It's getting really cold in here. And the nurse, she's like, oh, it's always cold here. It's just cold here. And I'm like, there might be a spirit here. And she like stopped and she looked at me. It's like, what did you say? I was like, I really don't talk about this, but there's a spirit here. It's a woman, and I described her. And she took out a piece of paper and started taking notes. And she's like, you know what? The custodians, we get new custodians every night, every other night, because nobody wants to stay here because they keep seeing this woman the way you're describing her.
Wow.
And then I
Yeah.
told her, well, intuitively, I believe this woman is lost. And this was not a hospital. She's making me feel this is not a hospital. It feels like a mental institute.
Wow.
And so we did the whole process, whatever. We're walking away, and she comes out running. She's like, I just called one of my colleagues. Before this was a hospital, this was a mental institute.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So
That's
it's funny
cool.
because I didn't get cold, but my mom did.
Mm-hmm.
So her sensitivity to spirit, it's a lot different than mine.
Yeah, it would
Ironically,
be
she does
different.
not. She would not admit to it. She gets out her rosary and starts praying for, I don't know, 55 minutes. It's her prayer time. And I'm like, I'm not even going to get into details. But she was really excited. It's like, oh, we felt a ghost. But then she started praying, throwing holy water all over the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going to start getting mold.
Ah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the lines are open if anybody wants to call in and tell their story. Just a reminder of that. Just click the link at the very bottom of the description. So just FYI out there. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. Do you have a story, Christina? I know you said you had a story.
But you
Nothing
totally
scares
weren't
you.
interested in it. What?
Nothing scares you, but I would still love to hear it.
Oh, yeah, no, nothing does scare me. But and when it happened, I was scared. I still felt fear at the time, but like now I kind of like laugh about it. Like when shit like this happens to me now, I'm just like, ugh, leave me alone. I'm fucking sleeping. Go away.
It's more like if you're gonna be roaming around the house, moving
like just
windows,
don't
might
make a mess.
might as well
Like,
do the dishes.
yeah, like oh shit, they just blew open the fucking door. Like please don't wake me up. Like that's rude. That's how I feel about it now. Like I'm not even kidding. But back in the day, like when Allie was my roommate, she was getting involved in all this stuff and like she was very like kind of in an unstable place in her life. And you know when like people can be really unstable, it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
they like open themselves up to energies and there was always this darkness that I felt like was following her and I could feel it. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I feel it too. Well, whenever she'd come in, she'd have friends in the room next to me, like, and I'd be trying to sleep. Like, there was one night they were being super quiet, like they weren't even being loud. I'm pretty sure they were just like smoking weed and that was it. Like they were not even talking, nothing. Like, and all of a sudden my bed violently shakes. Then I feel at the end of my bed like something sit, like you know that impression on the end of the bed, like it sits down and like you can feel that figure sitting down. And I was like, oh my God. And then like this burst of wind came through my door and my mirror was like knocked over and I like jumped up and I started doing like what your mom does. Like I started like praying and like spraying holy water and like, you know, like casting it out back then. But now like I'd just be like, get the fuck off my bed. Like, don't be rude. Like, I don't know. But back then I could feel the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, were you even listening? I'm never gonna tell you a story again.
I am listening. I was just
Yeah.
responding to somebody was asking for the link, so I'm like, here,
Uh,
have it.
Yeah.
It's like they don't pay
Oh,
attention. It's like I told you earlier, but we also ran in a little late because of technical
yeah.
difficulties, and then my camera wasn't working. It's like I'm not gonna work. I was like,
Mine
oh,
too.
talking about the
That's why it was happening.
paranormal.
That's why it was not connecting.
I know we had an issue at work, and I was like, you know what? Just blame it on the retrograde,
blame it on retrograde.
or blame it on the minority, which is me.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, 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 stop doing that. I was like, nah, it makes all of our lives a lot easier.
Oh,
And I
stop.
was like, I'm not in the office anyway, so who cares? You know,
Yeah, it's
it does
crazy.
crack me up. Actually, so at work we had this new person that came in. Her name is Brittany, and she's totally into the paranormal, and she always wanted to play with a Ouija board. And I was like, I have a version of the Ouija board that was supposedly channeled from, you know, the good spirits and everything. So it's made for, it's been given good energies. It's not like a plain Ouija board that is just a bunch of letters thrown in there. Here, just do whatever you want. This has a purpose to it. So I'm like, you know, I'll come over to your house. And she lived across the street from Trader Joe's, and I'm always buying stuff at Trader Joe's. So I went and buy food, went to her house, and they're offering me snacks and everything. We're sitting there and talking, and I was like, are you guys ready to start? The most ironic part here is that oh, we have Artsy. Okay, we have a guest. So after my story, I'll bring you in so you can tell us your story. So we're sitting there. I take out the board. We put everything there. I made a mess in her house because I eat popcorn like the birds. It's all over the place. The ironic part is her husband is an atheist.
Oh
He
my
does
god.
not believe in this stuff, but he's like, you know, I love my wife. I'm going to participate. Awesome. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, I feel a presence, and I believe this is your grandmother. The TV turns off because it was just running in the background. The sound was off.
Uh-huh.
And her husband is like, we have faulty wiring. It's an old house. And I'm like, your grandma's going to give us a sign that it's really her. That's what she's telling me, that she prefers not to talk through the board, that she prefers to use me so we can make the seance a little bit different. And her husband's like, I really don't believe in this. And then her picture from the wall just falls into the floor. And obviously he's like, yeah, the walls are faulty too. The nail must just popped up and just fell. It falls all the time. And Brittany's like, no, this is the second time it has happened. You bought a better nail. It cannot just happen. So we started playing. We said goodbye to Grandma. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling the presence of a man, and it's making me a little scared. If it makes me scared, it's someone I don't want to communicate with. And he started to feel fear right after I said that. He's like, I don't understand it. I don't believe in this. I'm just a little scared. So it was like, we're going to force the planchette to say goodbye, and we're going to close the session. So we did that. We closed everything, and we noticed that one of the candles, it's one of those big fat candles that you buy. It was almost gone. Like the wax just completely burned out. And he's like, oh my goodness, I'm creeping out. And she came to work. It was a Friday, and she came to work Monday. I didn't see her until Wednesday. And she's like, he has not been able to sleep ever since. He's been having a difficult time sleeping, and he's just having a very difficult time coming up with a logical conclusion because paranormal does not exist. So that's my little paranormal story. So, and we have a guest over here. So let me bring him in.
All right, bring him in. Come on down.
His name is Artsy. I'm going to put him guest number 3.
Get something really quick.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi.
Who's this?
This is artsy.
No,
Artsy. Artsy girl. 28.
Sophia? Oh, there you go. I
Maybe.
recognize the voice. I recognize the voice. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. Do you have any ghost stories? You know, the
I
paranormal.
actually, I, I actually have two.
Go for it.
Um,
Indulge me.
okay. So the first one, my family and I, we lived in this apartment, and I was probably in grade school, and me and my brother were like playing with my mom, I think like in the master bedroom, and my dad was in the living room watching like a football game, and he heard some noise, like this like shoving noise, but he just thought it was like me and my brother like goofing around, and he's just like whatever. And then at some point he came back into the our like bedroom, and he like knocked on the door to be like, what's going on inside? And this apartment is on the second floor, and there's a window, but there's no like balcony or anything, so there's no way like anyone can come in and outside. And he tries to open the door, and he can't. He's like, what's going on? And like the door doesn't have a lock or anything. He just like there's something against like the door. And so he's like screaming at me, my brother, like, what's going on? And then we come out of my mom's room, like, what's going on? And he's like, who's in your room? Like, what's going on? And we're like, I don't know. We're just like in here. And then my dad has to like really, really push really, really hard to get into the room. And it turns out like this really heavy piece of furniture was moved, and it was right up against the door where there's no way that like anyone could have moved it and still have been in that room. The window was locked. And everyone was at home. So it's like, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's like those stories where they hear a knock on the window and they're like, but I live in a second floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and um I remember being really young, and I did have a lot of strange dreams there. Um and I remember my dad didn't really believe in like ghosts or whatever, but he was totally freaked out, where I think we ended up moving like a month later. Because he's
Wow.
like, what the hell? This is unsafe.
Yeah, there was a portal. I feel there was a portal.
A
Something
portal?
negative. Yeah, a negative portal. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Can
right
you
now
say
you're
more
telling
about
the
that?
story and honestly it's weird. It's weird because when I hear those stories or anybody that I hear those stories, I don't know, I connect and I go back to like back to the future, better to say back to the future to and see that. I'm seeing everything that you're telling me, I'm seeing exactly how you're telling it. It's weird. It's weird and that's what I get all the time. But yeah, I think it was like a negative portal right there close by. They didn't want you guys there. Yeah.
Ah.
They didn't want you guys there. That's their home. Yeah, but
That's
people
funny because I don't fully. I have my doubts on portals, but
mhm,
sometimes when we sit in a mediumship circle, I sometimes feel like energy trickling from an area, and
mhm,
then I feel something comes out of there, and I'm like, is that a portal? It's like,
yeah.
no, but the thing is, I believe because sometimes I believe in it depending on my mood. But I think in 4 sessions, in 4 different circle sessions, there's energy coming from the same area. It's always in the same area when I feel it. So it
Mhm,
might be a portal thing, but I don't know. I have my doubts.
mhm, yeah,
So
yeah. But
Well,
yeah,
that's interesting, because I've always thought about that, and no one said anything about a portal before to me, so that's fascinating.
Hmm. Yeah, I connect. That's a weird thing about me. It's like, and that's why I don't like listening to stories because I once I hear somebody's story, it's like it grabs me like really fast back to where it is, and I'm watching it. How you're explaining it, I'm seeing it live.
Oh,
Everything.
really?
Yeah, that's how I see it. That's how I feel like they just grab me and just go back to that time, and I'm just looking downwards and seeing everything that you're describing, everything it is doing. That's the weird thing about.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
funny because I get moments like that too, but
yes, I hate
I
it. It's
see
like,
things all the time.
mhm. Like I'm taking massage therapy, and it's like we and at school we had to do some massages, and I don't like it because oh my god, when I touch them, I connect to them, and I can feel things or things are they're going or any problems, any issues, I connect to them, and I don't like doing that. I hate it, and I'm like, I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them I can do that. And like, there's some people that don't want to tell, and it's like, but yeah,
I
yes,
see.
mm,
Well, I got another one if you guys are game.
go for it.
Okay, go for it.
For it.
Uh, Okay, so this one I was in middle school at my cousin's place and we had gone to bed and then in the middle of the night I'm just awoken up and I she had a closet that had like these sliding doors to open and the closet was open and then the poles where you hang clothes were right there and as soon as I like looked over there I saw a green figured man like glowing like neon green glowing and he's like literally sitting on the pole where like the clothes are inside the closet just staring at me and my cousin going to sleep and to this day I can still picture him in my mind's eye. He was like an older gentleman, bald, had like farmer like jean overalls with like a t-shirt so it seemed like he was like some kind of farmer and he just sat and like stared at us and so I was so scared because it's the first time I'm ever seeing anything like this. And so underneath like the covers, because my cousin is sleeping next to me, I'm slowly moving my hand over to like pinch her or anything. So it's like just kept like trying to like get her up, but she never did get up. And so then I was just like petrified and I like froze. I couldn't move or anything. So I just stared at him. He stared at me and I stared at him until eventually I fell asleep. And then in the morning, when we woke up, I told my cousin about it. And my cousin just has like this really outgoing kind of personality. And I don't know if she really believed me, but she goes, well, don't worry. If the ghost comes, I'll like punch him and green sparks will go everywhere. Where as soon as she said that, the lights in the room flickered and so then we both looked at each other like oh my gosh. So we ran down the hallway to my aunt and so then I told my aunt what I saw and what happened and then she's religious so she started praying to Christ and as soon as she said the word Christ the lights flickered again
Yeah.
and and then we were just like, okay, I don't know, but I just know that I never wanted to spend the night at her place for like I think it took me
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 years until I like had the bravery, the courage to spend the night again.
Go back.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's been my first and only time to actually see like a hologram type of ghost
Uh-huh.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
I had an experience once with the shadow people.
yeah,
So
the shadow ghost. Oh my god, those are
the shadow
oh
people are interesting because this time it actually happened a few years ago and I was with Arthur, but I don't recall what he was doing. Oh, but he slept in another bed, and he woke me up. He's like, "Hey." Oh no! In the morning, he tells me, "What were you doing last night?" I was like, "Why? What happened?" And I was like, "Because I thought you were looking for something." And I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, and there was nothing there. So there's this room. There were three beds. My mom was in one bed. I was in the middle, and he was on the side. And right in front of him was all of our luggage. And he swore that he heard somebody opening it, closing the luggage, and they were just going through all of our stuff. And when the light was shining upon it, there was nothing there. There was no one there. And when he made a noise, I actually woke up. Nothing. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I turned around because I sleep in my stomach or on my side. I cannot sleep facing up. So I turned around on my side, and my bed started to go down as when somebody sits on the edge of your bed.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
I had so much fear that I fell asleep. It's like when you're scared, your body paralyzes, and I just fell asleep. I was like, oh, well, if you got me,
Oh,
you got me. Just don't possess me. Whatever you do, don't possess me. Just whatever. And yeah, yeah. Oh no, but the shadow people I was talking about. So a few days later, my brother is sitting out there, and he's drunk. And he's sitting there talking all this stuff, talking about these spirits and everything. And I told him, if you can see spirits, that tree over there, there's something there. I can feel the energy, but I cannot see it. And there was somebody in the bathroom. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go past that tree all the way to the very back where the brick wall was. I was like, I'm just going to go pee over there. I'm just going to take a piss over there. As I start walking over there, I saw somebody pick their head. Hello, everybody. For some reason, talking about ghosts and spirits shut me down. Julio is gone. Christina is gone. And Sophia is still here with me. So,
oh,
oh,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Let me
We're
give me 2 seconds to reshare the stream because that is so creepy. Yeah.
I guess the spirits want me and you to talk.
So, yeah, sorry you guys. That is so creepy. Like everything just dropped. But the link should be the same if you want to join in on the party. And oh, Julio's joining in. All right, let me assign him to number 2.
Espanto
Oh
se
no,
enojó.
that's Christy.
Christina?
Se enojó el espanto. Didn't want to
That
leave.
is so weird because we're talking about shadow people, and all of a sudden, it
Yes.
just says no internet service.
Oh
So
my
we can
gosh.
either blame it on the spirits or blame it on Comcast.
Well, Greg, can you explain who shadow people are?
I cannot.
What?
I can't think of it right now.
uh, for me,
There
shadow
is
people.
there is an explanation of who the shadow people is. I just don't.
I kind of know a little bit. Shadow people. Okay, there's two type of shadow peoples. There's the black shadows and the white shadows. Supposedly, the shadows are the worstest ones. Those are the baddest ones. Those are like really bad, and those are the ones to worry about if you see them. I've heard is mostly they live in the closets mostly. That's why I always see a little crack. Sometimes when you leave the little closet a little open, always close it because for the black shadows don't come out. That's where they live. They love darkness.
Really?
So, yes, they love darkness.
Oh my
So
God, I'm getting scared.
black shadows live mostly in the closets, and it's really hard. Like it's really not okay. Mostly when you're sleeping, they like to drain you. They like to. How can I explain it to you? Um,
Oh, well, I think you've shared enough. I'm good.
have you seen the movie Harry Potter? Mostly, the Deventers, supposedly Deventers or whatever they were called. That's kind of like a shadow, a black shadow, and that's what they do mostly. What do they do? They like to suck your energy, and that's
Hmm.
why you always try. And my theory is always keep your, you know, that's how I see it. White shadows are a little bit okay, but not that okay because they like to play around. They like to joke around. They like to mess around, play with games. Turn off lights, close doors, move things
Mm,
around, those things.
gotcha.
But they don't do a lot of harm. But some of them will a little bit, sometimes scratch you or yeah. But black shadows are the worst ones because those are the ones that they like to drain you out, drain your spirit out, like try to suck all the energy out of you. And that's when you wake up all like, like kind of like, oh, blah. And then mostly the black shadows are, sucking that energy out of you.
All right, got it.
I'll stop from there.
Yeah, you could stop now.
I'm about
Yeah.
to check my internet speed because if it's my internet speed, then you have nothing to worry about. But if it's not my internet speed, then I don't I don't know what it is. Okay, my internet speed it's at 500 megs, so it's 600. So it's at 800, so it should
Okay.
have not slowed down at all.
Yeah.
So
That's what I think. Sometimes that happened to me. I think that's what happened to my computer, to my internet. It slowed down. I don't know why, but okay. But yeah, what else?
I don't know how long we were live, but this thing shows like as if we still are connected, but I don't know how much of it's still live.
We're still live? Let me check on my phone.
Okay, no, it's fine. I think it's continuing from the same stream. Anyways, that was that
Anyways,
was that was so creepy.
it was.
Uh,
Yes.
blame it on the shadow people. You know.
Aha. Shut up. Don't say no more because it's going to turn it
Actually,
off
I'm
again.
gonna look it up.
Ah.
A shadow person, according to Wikipedia, a shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, a shadow being, or black mass, is the perception of a patch or shadow as a living humanoid figure and interpreted as a presence of a spirit or other entity by believers in the paranormal or supernatural. That's scientific explanation. Several psychological and physiological conditions can be accounted for reported experiences of shadow shapes seem alive. A sleep paralysis sufferer may be perceived a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them when they lie awake, paralyzed, and become increasingly alarmed. I actually experienced sleep paralysis once, and I actually felt a figure coming on top of me, and I was 17 years old, and it was the biggest thing for me to sleep in the living room because I get to watch TV until like really late at night. And it wasn't nothing but, the Chronicles of Narnia, the original one from the UK. So,
Hmm.
I watched it until like reruns until like 3 a.m. And this time I was just laying there and I'm sitting there and I woke up. I opened up my eyes and I had my hands on my chest and I'm like trying to push this thing and it keeps getting heavier and heavier until like I pushed it off and I feel like something fell in the ground. I felt the thump, but I didn't hear it. So, and you know how we say in Spanish, se me subió el muerto, the dead is on top of me. And so it's like I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to sleep in the living room ever again. But that only lasted a week. The next week is like, I want to stay here now. But you know how kids are. They're always scared of everything, and last minute they're like, no, I'm not scared anymore. But yeah, the sleep paralysis, there's actually a YouTube video somebody did on someone that was having, oh no, they were having a night terror. Those are scary. Those are scary. Yeah. Anybody else out there in the public who wants to come in and join us? I think, Sophia, are you going to stay with us so I can move you to this little square?
I think I'm gonna head out.
She got scared.
Okay.
I'm scared. I don't want to hear anymore.
All right,
But
I'll move that little square.
but it was fun.
No, and thanks for sharing. And this is not everybody's cup of tea, but you know what? It is my cup of tea.
I like sharing stories, just not like when I
Not
get
at this
scared.
time.
Yes, the time. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the timing is good.
All right. Well, I will head out.
Okay.
All right. Well,
you.
thanks for calling in. Hopefully, I will have you for Tarot Talk as
Yeah.
we continue to reinvent ourselves.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Night, guys.
Well, have a good one.
A good one.
You too.
Bye. Oh, there's Jenny over here. She's saying that I missed all the creepy stuff. Well, Jenny, if you have any ghost stories, come on and tell us all the creepy stuff. I love a good scared. You know.
The other ghost story, let me see. Oh, the time I did a cleanse in the house, that was a good one too.
Ooh, tell me about it.
It was me and my friend. Oh, you met my friend Kathy. We went to do a cleanse for another friend. So we went to her house and I did the cleanse. I started all the way from the back to the forward and everything was doing. It was going good. And then it started like a kind of like a little bit of wind inside the house. And I'm like, do you guys have the door open? They're like, no, we have everything closed up. And it started like really like getting windy in there. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just did the prayer, did everything, and I was just doing it. And I had a CDO. I don't know. It's a CDO. I have it right here. That's why
It's a what do they call it?
It's a candle.
Easter candle.
It's an Easter candle. So I
that
had
what
one
it's
of these. CDO Pascual.
Yeah,
So
it's an
this
Easter
is
candle then.
yeah, the Easter candle one that gets blessed on Easter Mass, I think, one day before Easter Mass, and they bless it and everything. So I had this one on, and it was blowing out. They were blowing it out. So I said, okay. Then I had another one like this. My cross, it's a San Benito cross, like this one, and
Yes,
we
that
did
is
the-
used a lot as an amulet for evil spirits, and they use it a lot for exorcism.
yes. So I had this with me. So we started doing the whole house and everything. And we finished blessing the house. Me and my friend, she was like, I called her and told her, can you help me? Yeah, let's do it. So we did it. So after that, everything was good. And then she had a round table, and I told her, "Oh, I'm gonna sit down. I kind of feel tired." And she's like, "Hi, me too." And she sat down. She sat on one side, and I sat on the other side. And just in seconds, once we sat down, the table started shaking really, really, really bad, like shaking, like the ones that you see in the movies. They started moving really hard, fast. And my friend looked at me, what's going on? I don't know. Just I told her, and she left the cereal in the kitchen counter, and I told her, get the cereal. And she's like, what do I do with it? Turn it on. And she's like, okay, but where do I put it? Just hit it. So she grabbed it and she's like, "What do I do with it?" Slam it on the table, and she bam slammed it in the table, and the table stopped moving completely. After that,
Wow.
after that, this is the weird part. After that, the candle was on, and black smoke started coming out of it. Black smoke coming out, and you can see the whole thing. And it was weird because it started like a little tornado on top of it. It just started turning black, 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 black. And she's like, "What do I do? Let's pray. Let's pray." And I told her, "Let's pray El Credo." That's like another
The
really
creed.
strong. Yeah. So we started me and her praying it, and in just seconds it was black, 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 black. It was like turning really hard, and from the bottom it started getting white, 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 and poof, it just disappeared. Everything just went out the hole, and everything stopped, and everything was really, really calm. Everything stopped in seconds. So after that, we left. I left her one of these. This is not it, but there was another one like this. I left her one of these. I told the girl, I told my friend, keep it in your. She had a Bible open. Keep it in the middle of the Bible. So the next day, it was a brand new one. The next day, she called me, Julio. She was like scared, like freaked out. Julio, wow, what happened? The the cross is broken. What do you mean the cross is broken? Yeah, it cracked. Well, how can it crack? It's metal. It's cracked. I said, send me a picture, and yeah, where here's the Christ in front, but in the middle there's the San Benito, the little round coin. That coin was cracked in the middle, all of it. So
Wow.
she's like, I want to give it to you back. I can't accept it. So what do I do? And I said, okay, bring it. We're gonna go to the ocean. We're gonna go to the end of the pier on the ocean, and you're gonna drop it in the water and just say, "I'm gonna leave all the negative here," and throw it in the ocean. She's like, "Okay," but then after you turn back, I told her after you throw it, don't look back, because if you do look back, you're gonna bring again all that negativity back to your house. And I walked with her to throw it, and then we walked back, and she was like, "Oh, nervous!" Like she was like, "I'm like, what's wrong?" It's like I feel something like pulling me it wants me to turn back, like to look back. Don't look back. Just fight it, fight it. And she's like, I can't. Something's pushing me to look back. I said, just fight it. Let's go. Let's walk, walk, walk. After the end of the pier, she's like, her energy was really, really low in the beginning, but after we got farther and farther, um, she's like, I feel better. And then I'm like, okay, you're done. And after that, all of her negativity, all of her that negativity that was in that house, everything changed. She even bought a house already.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
it
maybe I
was.
should get a ghost so I can buy a house after that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If anybody's here,
Yeah.
don't listen. It's a joke. It's a bad joke. A terrible
Uh-huh.
joke.
Yes. You don't want them. You don't want them. But yeah.
Right. No, yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. When I was a kid, maybe I was probably like 9 or 10. We used to play two square in the garage. You don't know what two square is? It's two little squares, and you bounce a ball back and forth and try to get the other
Okay.
person out. But we never really got each other out. It's a small garage, and we're little kids, and we're passing the ball. So it's around 9 o'clock, and I remember this. It's around 9 o'clock. We walk in, we turn on the garage lights, and my mom's like, "Don't go play. It's late at night. Spirits like to play at night." I was like, no, no, no. And you know the Mexican superstitions. They're like,
Yeah.
you don't sweep at night. You don't do this at night. You don't do that at
Mhm.
night. You don't breathe at night. I'm kidding. Anyways, so she's like, don't go in the garage at night. You should not be playing. You should be resting and saying your prayers. And I'm like, no, I just want to play. I want to play. I turn on the lights and I look at the ball, and I tell the girl that used to live in our house, I was like, let's go play. And then suddenly the ball started bouncing on its own. And I kid you not, I was like, I am out of here. I just like ran out and I was like, I am so terrified.
Ay, Dios mío.
So we do have a guest.
All right.
Oh, well.
Pone 50 tú y 50 tú. Pues sí. No les gusta andar sin saldo.
Pues no hay plan. No hay plan.
We can hear.
I can hear you.
Sí, Dios mío.
You're okay? Oh, there you are.
Ya dijo que 50-50.
Yeah, sorry, because I'm getting vaccinated tomorrow.
Ooh.
So we're
where's
doing
Christina?
plans for that.
She does not like vaccines, and I love to tease her about it. But I still love her. She's still my friend from like elementary. So we go way back to first grade.
Qué cosas.
And then, here's a good one. So when I used to work at Safeway, it's a grocery store. And at the very back of most stores, there's the dairy box. Where they put all the milks. And there was this lady, she used to get on my nerves all the time. I did not like her at all. Let's just say she was a bit of a Karen. Mm-hmm. And she will always come in like around 10:30 at night, and she will like have 2 carts full of groceries. And she wanted things to be bagged in a peculiar way.
Oh my God.
And the best part, she bought everything that had a coupon on with. So obviously we were like at night, there's only like one cashier and that's it. Right. So there's this long line. This lady's paying with coupons. And I was like, oh. So I was telling the cashier, I was like, you know what? I think there's a ghost in here because last time I walked by the dairy box, all the doors opened by themselves. So as soon as the following week, this lady like will only shop once a week. So she comes in and I was like, I need to go to the dairy box. So as she's walking by the dairy box, I grabbed the big door from the back and I closed it as hard as I can, causing that pressure to open all the doors from the refrigerator at the same time.
You're bad.
So I did that and all the doors open. So when she had like 1 cart this time and she comes in, I'm bagging for her. I was 16 at the time. And she's like, young man, can you get me a milk? Because the doors do open by themselves. And it happened 3 times. And I was like, oh no, I heard the number 3 is like really bad. That means if something happens 3 times, it could probably follow you home.
Oh my God.
And I was like, it happened to me at night. I went home and the cabinets of my house, they were just opening and closing.
You're so bad.
I never saw her at night again.
You're malo.
I'm preparing to be a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Jaime, how are you tonight? Besides muted. There we go.
I'm all right. You guys?
We're good. We're just telling ghost stories. I love a good scare.
Yeah. A good scare. Well,
this is so weird. I can't hear you, but this is so weird. Oh, now I can.
Your ghost stories are hitting up. They don't want us to talk about them.
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing ever. It's just like the internet keeps dropping. It's probably Comcast. I should research it. And Julio, if you can hear us, don't, just come back online.
Yes, I can hear you.
Log in. I just got a message. Internet restored. Okay, let me check. Comcast outage. Put the name of the town.
Can you hear me?
He's out. No problems detected.
Can you hear me?
No, he's coming back.
But can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just checked on the internet, and the internet says there's no problems with Comcast. So
I don't know. That's weird. Our ghosts don't want us to be talking about ghost stories. Then,
right? Jaime, can you
Yeah.
hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, there you go.
Um, what was the last thing you heard from me?
Nothing.
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 Yeah, it got
Okay.
frozen.
Nothing. It just froze. It got disconnected. So I either need a new modem, even though I have a good modem, or it really is the paranormal activity because I've not had this issue before.
All right. So, well, what I tried to say was I don't really have long, scary stories per se. I mean, I've had some experiences that could be considered scary or paranormal, but I'm still a bit skeptical. Like it could just be me or I don't know, my mind playing games on me. But I have heard also some really good scary stories, so I don't know which ones you would prefer.
Whichever you want.
Mercury Gatorade, yeah, it's Gatorade, like Betsy says, probably in the comments. And yes, I said Gatorade, not Retrogate.
Whichever story you want to tell us. Tell us any story you want to tell us.
Um. Oh well, here's kind of a really juicy one. Well, I'm gonna avoid mentioning where I study, where I go for college, because I could get in big trouble for this. So let's just say I go to a Catholic school. Let's just leave it like that. And one afternoon I was talking with some of my classmates. We were working um on some project together, and then we were talking about scary stories. And one of my friends, she used to live at the dorms on campus, and she was kind of an RA. And she started telling us about weird stories that happen at the dorms of my university. And she's like, yeah, it's very funny because apparently we are not allowed to say that there are ghost stories at the dorms, but we can totally say that there has been an exorcism before. I was
Mm.
drinking, I don't remember what I was drinking, and then I'm like, like I spat everything. I'm like, hold the freak up. Hold up, push the brakes, reverse. Can you repeat what you just said? Oh yeah, there's been an exorcism on campus before. I was like, oh, okay, that's
Yes.
unexpected. But then she started first with the paranormal stuff, and she was like, well, yeah, there has been many sightings of this little girl who like plays pranks on the students. Things get moved around, and there has been some incidents where the cameras they capture that there's like some sort of shadow that entering the dorms, and like yeah, that's when weird activity happens, and it usually happens late at night when the strongest events happen. I mean, there's also some incidents where it happens during daytime, you could say, but they are not as strong as they are at night. Because there was this incident where exchange students, they spend the night over at the dorms just for one night, and then in the middle of the night around 3 a.m., how cliche, um, it was three gals and they were sleeping and they all slept in different bedrooms, and then around that time all of a sudden all of them got their blankets pulled off from them, and they all like screamed to the top of their lungs, and then like they called security like, oh my god, there was someone inside the dorm. And then they checked the cameras, and guess what, there was no one who like there was no person. However, they saw that some sort of translucent shadow entered the dorm where the exchange students spend the night. So yeah, there's also incidents where like stuff gets moved around at this in the storage room at the dorms, and or like people see from their windows like there's like a little girl like standing from their window, or like looking on their peripherals they see a little girl, or in the mirrors they see also movement. So it's like and then back to the exorcism. I don't know many details, but apparently there was some exorcism, because there's even a statue of the Virgin Mary, like outside of the building where the girl was exorcised. But they never specified if she lived or she perished. They never specified. I'm assuming she didn't make it because the room where this girl was exorcised, it's filled with like crucifixes and religious icons. So it most likely didn't end well, and that place is still very haunted. And many people say, "Oh, we think the girl is the manifestation of this really, really dark entity." Yeah,
Wow.
pretty creepy.
Well,
For a Catholic university.
Well, the university I went to, I believe is haunted. It's also a Catholic school, and there's a big mansion. In my classroom, I used to park outside the mansion, and my classroom was in front of the mansion, and I was parked behind it, so I had to cross by the mansion. And there is a tiny little spot where there's absolutely no light. And I had an umbrella, like that yellow marker color, and it had a little light on it. So if I turn on, the whole thing illuminated, and it created this big old space. So I will always carry that umbrella. Oh, check this out, you guys. Jeffrey Kelly, my dogs just started barking. There is something going on because my live got cut 3 times.
yes.
Anyways,
It's the Gatorade.
so it's the Gatorade. Anyways, I'm walking down, and I constantly got the feeling of like I felt somebody looking at me from the mansion. So I asked one of my teachers, say, "Hey, for no reason, the dog started barking for no reason." Anyways, I asked my teachers, like, "Does anybody go in that mansion?" And she's like, "No, that mansion is closed to the public. Nobody goes in there. And somebody goes in there once a month just to clean. Make sure there's no spider webs, nothing like that, but that's it. And it's usually when no one's on campus." And I constantly felt someone looking at me, and I was walking down with someone this one time, and she was like, for some reason, oh no, I feel someone staring at me. And then she goes, for some reason, I'm actually feeling scared. And this is around this time where the time changed. So it was around like towards the end of November that it's darker at 6 p.m. Anyways, the class ended at 10:30. So, but this time we were on our break, and we walk into the cafeteria, and heading back, she's like, for some reason, I'm getting scared walking by the mansion like the past couple of days. And I'm like, you know what? I have always felt somebody looking at me. So they say that the owner of that house, who owned that big piece of land here in this area, donated that land to the nuns, so the nuns can start a women's college. Because, you know, back in the days, women didn't really have a college to go to. Yeah. So it's supposedly one of the first colleges in California, and it was to serve a university to serve women. And now, obviously, it's co-ed, but... And yeah, so they say it's him up there that watches over the school, making sure everybody is keeping their word. So it's, I don't know. I am curious to go there. I try filming it, and I sit in class. I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to walk down. No, next class I'm going to walk down, and I'm going to film it. And for some reason, I forget. Yeah. And it's like 5 minutes to the end of class. I'm going to film it. I have my phone in hand. And I'm walking out, and I'm like, I have to do something, and I can't remember. Mm-hmm. I just go to my car and leave. As soon as I turn right to go into the highway. I'm like, "Ugh, I was gonna record the mansion." And one time I did turn around, I parked, I got out of my car, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I
Yeah.
like it literally forgot. So it's just creepy like that. So
It is.
when you
It
brought up
is.
your university, I thought of that little experience. And it's creepy too with
Yeah.
all the statues of all the saints.
The fountain that you're talking about, the Virgin Mary's in the middle of the fountain.
No, it's inside of the hallways.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no fountain there.
No, I'm asking. I forgot his name. What was his name again?
Julio. Oh, actually,
Ah,
I think there is a fountain. His name is Julio.
okay.
Jaime. I'm
Jaime.
reading your name. I'm reading your
Okay.
name. I'm like Julio. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm Julio. Okay, there's another Julio.
I don't think I'm Julio, but yes, Jaime. No, the statue is like right outside of the building where the exorcism happened.
Okay.
I will have to take a picture or like ask some of the people when we go back to school in person. Because like right now we're still not going in person. Only very few people are going back. We're in the hybrid system,
Mhm.
so
There's some flowers too.
yeah,
There's some growing flowers around the Virgin Mary, right?
from what you
I'm
remember.
assuming so.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. All right. No,
Julio's getting clairvoyant.
yes, I'm getting some stuff like seeing things. Yes, I'm sorry. I told you guys my story. I connect when you're telling your stories. I connect. I go back to where you guys are talking about. So I'm seeing, and I
So
like
Betsy
freaking out.
wants to know, do you
Actually,
know the
I don't
year the exorcism happened?
know. I do not know. However, I know that it was somewhat recent, but it is like top secret. Like it is only
Yeah. That's
people
mostly top secret.
who live in the dorms
Yeah, mostly
get
the
to know that. But
yeah,
and even
mostly
then, it's more like, yeah, you just get
yeah,
the big sugar coat.
yeah. They keep it really locked up. It's like that's when they do something like that. They keep it really locked up.
Yeah,
Mostly.
because
Hmm. Yeah, go for it. Did you get stuck again? No.
oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah.
No, I was gonna say.
Since it is a Catholic university, imagine if they have the reputation. Oh, hey, guess what? There was an exorcism in a
Yeah,
Catholic university.
yeah.
Like,
Well, the
okay.
Catholic Church does do most of the exorcisms out there than any other church.
Yeah.
Yes. I know that. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was a priest on campus who tried to do the exorcism.
Mm.
So I used to read these.
So that's why probably it didn't go as well. It was
Yeah.
not an expert.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned that because I used to read this magazine from Mexico called Esoterico. I don't know if they still have it, but there was. Oh no, I lied.
Mhm.
Well, I did read a story like that in that magazine a long time ago, but then on I believe this was an article that was published on like on a very highly reputable witch website, and they were talking about how priests sometimes make the demonic possessions worse than a witch,
Yeah.
because witches usually have that communication with the spirit world, and they constantly have that knowledge of what, how to do that stuff, because that's basically what they do, and a priest does not do that. Like, they rarely do it, if they do.
It's it's kind of like, oh, we just have a different teachings. We were
Yeah.
raised differently, kind of thing. As while witches are like, oh yeah, we know the left path
Yeah.
way instead of the right path way,
There is a priest
something
that I
like
do
that.
follow on TikTok, and he's been appointed from the church to be, the church's exorcist, and he does talk about certain things like that, and I do trust them for some reason.
Yeah,
You know,
there. What I've heard is there's a lot of not any priest can do an exorcism. I think there's certain because there is a book. They have a book. They have a book that they have to follow by the book how to do an exorcism. So I've
I
heard.
think
Correct.
they must take some kind of course on demonology to
Yeah.
understand how, demonic possessions work and how, how to get their name. And
Hmm.
it is believed that once you know their
Right.
name, you can control them.
Yeah.
They most likely have to read some sort of like the lower key of King Solomon or something like that, or Goetia, however you pronounce it.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the demons of the Goetia that supposedly helped King Solomon build his empire.
Uh, Angels and Demons, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am a little familiar with it because I was reading the lower keys of the lower keys of King Solomon at one point. Um, I was doing some reading on necromancy, and yeah, it's interesting. And one of the first things they teach you in necromancy is you have to be. I just heard somebody call me. You guys didn't hear anything on the mic, did you?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, I was reading. One of the things that I was reading is in order to perform those kind of to be part of the art of necromancy, one of the most important things is to be in control at all times, because once you lose control is when chaos breaks loose and things start to
Mm-hmm.
happen around you, to the people you love, to the people you know. They start having all these things, and I mean, I easily get distracted, so I'm like, oh, it's not my thing then. I'll just
That
gonna
is
finish
one
the
of the
book.
reasons
Yeah.
why I don't practice any of that.
I'm just gonna finish the book to fill myself with knowledge. And it was very interesting because there
Correct.
was one passage that was saying that, and I believe to be true because I've experienced it, that a lot of mediums do not believe in negative entities.
Yeah.
And a lot of mediums that I have run into, they always say, I don't believe in that. If you keep your vibration high, they're never going to attach to you. But that was
Yeah.
one of the first
Hi.
things that I read in that book on necromancy, is that a lot of the lower vibration spirits do like to attach themselves to mediums because of that belief, and
Yes.
they can
Yes.
become imposters.
Yes.
And one of the things is like they won't lie, but they won't tell you the truth either.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to lie, but they won't tell you the whole truth. Did you go to
Yeah.
the party last night? Oh, I just went to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you left out that part, that coming back home, you stopped by the party sort of thing. They tell you the truth, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. So I do keep that in mind, because when I have practiced mediumship in those circles, I have felt negative entities. And likely the girl that was sitting next to me felt the same thing, and the other girl next to me felt the same thing. The new girl rose her hand and asked, I feel something negative here.
Yep.
And the medium that was conducting the circle was like, well, maybe they're just having a bad day and you're picking up on that vibration. She's like, no, it's a being that it doesn't belong here. It doesn't come
Mm-hmm.
from a person. So this girl like knew what she was saying. And I kind of tapped her in the leg, and I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I said it in Spanish because nobody there spoke Spanish. I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about, and we can talk about it on the side. So when we went to the side, I said, for some reason, nobody wants to admit that there is this kind of things, and they just believe it's high vibration all the time. But I can feel that thing too.
Yeah.
And she said, for some reason, he does not want to get near us. I don't know, and I don't want to find out. But we left it at that, and we both said a prayer. I like to pray to the Archangel Michael. I don't know who she prayed to, but after we said our prayer, it started to dissipate and disappeared, and everything was successful for that day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because it was all energy, and not
Yeah.
everybody felt. I'm sure other people felt it, but they probably thought what they were saying. It's like somebody had a bad day, and you're just picking up on that energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it is. It is, and I think
Yeah.
this art of spirit communication. Those of you that believe in the Bible, it even says that if you're given the gift, you will be given the gift to discern spirits, the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just love to open it. Oh, I can totally do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if it's not your thing, don't open it.
Yeah. Don't open it because later on it's gonna be hard to close it.
Jaime, you're rolling your eyes. Tell us.
It's gonna be close it.
No, yeah, that's why no, I agree. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't really practice any of this stuff. Like I'm kind of like you, Greg. Like I've read all sorts of stuff from Thelema, Enochian stuff, Goetia, Martinism, and all these esoteric hermetic stuff. But yeah, it's like, Jaime's clumsy. Jaime should not practice that. Jaime will just read and just stay like that. Because if Jaime practices, he will F it up.
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually do have here in the Bay Area, we have a church, the OTO, and they practice a Gnostic Mass, which is based on the Thelema
Ah,
that is written by Aleister
Ordo
Crowley.
Templis Orientis. Mhm.
Yes. So it's
Ooh,
only like
yeah, that
half an
sounds
hour for
that's spooky. That's spooky stuff.
so it's only a half an hour from my house, and I've been curious to go. I fill myself with guts. I'm going to church, and then COVID happened.
That's good. That's a sign.
But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the BOTA. I want to learn more about the tarot and the Kabbalistic
The
practices.
spirits are like,
Yeah.
But then it was like, I look at the time. I was like, I am not getting up at 6 a.m. to do everything and then head over there. It's still like a 45-minute drive for me.
I don't
So
know.
I am lazy.
Yeah.
So Betsy wants to know,
yeah.
do they have to learn Latin too? I think
I
some
think I
priests.
think the book is in Latin. The book that they have to follow, it's in Latin. They have to say it in Latin. It's everything's all in Latin.
And I think so they have to learn Latin because there are
Yeah.
some words that you
Word.
recite, that
Yeah.
pronunciation, it's very important because the sound vibration is what causes uh, the manifestation of whatever you want to do.
Yeah. One of my uncles, he passed away already, but he was learning to become a priest. But he
Oh,
found when he was in whatever you call it, the combat or whatever you call it, the thing they go to, he would tell us, if you guys knew what things happen in there, you guys wouldn't be Catholics. That's all he would tell us. He that's all he would tell us. And
dang.
um he had the
Sorry.
book. He had some books on that, and he burned them. He burned them. I'm like, I wanted it, like that would be cool. But no, he burned all
That
those
would have been
books.
a great donation.
Yeah, burned them all those books. He burned them because he says, no, I don't want nobody reading these books. Yeah, but yeah, he would tell us a lot of stories about that. Well, not me, Tom and
Sorry
all those
about
people.
that. The lights went on in my room, and
Oh
I
my
tried to turn
god.
them off, and I ended up turning off the living room off, and my mom's
Oh.
screaming.
Ya la asustaste.
That's what happens when everything's smarted and programmed to do certain things. That
You
it's
better
like
watch it.
everything's
She's
just
gonna
lit
come out with
up.
the holy water on you, throw it to you.
Yeah. So no, yeah, but it's interesting because my brother was gonna be a priest, and we always make a joke about you were gonna be a father, but you are a father of 3 kids. So yeah, I have another friend that also went to priesthood, and he was about to become ordained, but he something sad but true happened, and he kind of left the church, and
Mhm.
and it's still happening out there to those poor children, So if you know what I mean by that, I don't want
Mhm.
to say it, but
Oof. Yeah, you don't want to be censored by Facebook or something.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
but
yeah, there's
yeah,
a lot of things that there's a lot of weird things going on. It's like, but yeah. So
I think
Greg,
one of
what's yours? What about you? Any other ghost stories?
well, I talked about the shadow people. I do want to save some for the next
Okay.
Friday. Uh, I really am enjoying this telling the
Yeah.
ghost stories. Having people, don't be shy. It's okay. You don't have to turn on your camera. You can just call in, and we'll just
Yeah.
keep it off. But I
I
do
told
love
my I
hearing
yeah.
what.
I told my dad about this thing. We're doing a show about ghosts. Oh, diles about me. What about me? And I'm like, oh, he has thousands and thousands of ghost stories that happened to him. But I'll say
Well,
one of them.
if your culture, like us
Now,
Mexicans, we have all these legends, La Llorona, el
yeah.
jinete sin cabeza, el de las cadenas,
Oh
you
my
know.
god.
Well, yeah, that's like stereotypical of small towns.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, oh, yeah, I've seen her too at this point.
Well,
My uncle
not those
claims to have seen
not
her.
those type of stories, but yeah, he's been through a lot. Um, Let me see one that he told me. Oh, the one that he was telling me, tell this one, tell this one. Oh, okay, I'll tell him. So one time my mom and him, my mom and my dad went to look for money. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Supposedly in Mexico, a lot of people would bury their money before in the old days. They didn't exist banks, so they buried their money. But a lot of the ones that
Yeah,
buried their money, they would put hechizos, like witchcraft things, like booby traps and all
yeah,
this thing on them, do spells on them. So my dad found out that there was some money, buried, and he told my mom, let's go get it, and let's go look for it. I know where it's at. All right, let's go. So they went. It was at midnight. So they went into this big, tall corn place. Like it was like really, really like como a huerta, kind of like, I don't know how to call it, a field of corn, really tall. So they were like
bush,
looking
the
for it,
cultivo.
and they saw the tree, and they're like, there it is. There's the sign right there, that tree. On the side of that tree, that's where the money is. So they were getting really
Yeah.
close. Then at the beginning, it started windy, like really, really, a really hard, strong wind. So my mom was like, okay, let's just go. Let's forget, it's just windy. Let's go. But then they started listening to cows coming down from the corn thing. And they're like, my mom started getting nervous. And my mom was like looking around and everything. And they can hear the people saying, Órale, vaca, hurry up, vaca, muévete, vaca. And it sounded like they were coming. And then they started throwing rocks at them. And they were
What?
like, yeah, there were rocks like right in my foot. They were hitting me. And then the wind, and then it started really, really like really windy. And my dad says that a little tornado started, and it would in the middle of it, and it would just move to where the tree was, and it stopped. Money is, let's go get it. And but the more closer they got, the worser the noises got. The noises got and everything. So he saw my mom, and my mom got really nervous. And he said, let's just
Mhm.
go because something's going to happen to your mom. Like, it was going to, I just told her, let's go, because it looked like she was really nervous that she was going to have something like a heart attack or something. Let's just go. And they left.
They had a
So,
premonition. Yeah.
after, let's say that was when they went. After 20 years that we came back, he took me there. He took me
Hmm.
there, and the horn was like really small, and we are like, it was like telling me right there in that tree, that's where I saw where it stopped. The tornado stopped. So after that, I looked back, and we saw this guy, like a cowboy guy, really dressed, really nice with a white horse. My mom saw it, and my aunt saw it, and we saw it, but there was a big tree. So after it went
Hmm.
by, we never saw it come through. Just there, it just disappeared in that tree. And we're like, okay, where's the cowboy guy? And
Qué
nothing came up.
raro, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. They're really, really, it's a really crazy, crazy thing. But yeah.
It's very common, those type of stories in small towns. For instance, at my grandma's house, she already passed away a few years ago. But my uncle brought this metal detector machine to see if there was some sort of, I don't know, treasure or some money hidden underground. Because they live. My father is from a town that used to be an hacienda.
Uh-huh.
So it was very common during the Civil War era of 1910, 1910, 1920, 1920,
Mhm.
to for landlords to like bury their money and then leave, hoping they will come back and they get it back up. Anyway, so my uncle was like looking for money in the house, and the metal detector indeed detected like some sort of metal uh, under the house, and he's like, no, it's gotta be here. And apparently, he dug a bunch of he dug a lot. It was pretty deep, and he never found any money, any treasure, not even like scrap metal.
Yeah.
However, legends say that if the money's not meant for you, you're not gonna find it. It's usually
Yes.
for the chosen one.
Yeah.
So who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows who's gonna
The curse
Supposedly,
of
find the
my
money
dad
in?
treasure.
would tell me, or my grandma would tell me, she was very spiritual like this. She knew how to do all this. She used to do a lot of limpias and all that. She knew how to do all this. And she would tell me that. She would tell, if it's not meant to you, it moves. It moves, or it disappears, or it breaks. And, but there's people that can see it. And if they can see it, they should just grab it, grab it and get it. And but yeah, people are very, sometimes they get nervous or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
that's weird.
Or also similar to the cowboy that you say, usually like late at night, if you see like un jinete, like bien vestido, a well-dressed cowboy riding a black horse, like it's el diablo and stuff like
That's my
that.
dad.
So,
That's my no. Honestly, I'm saying that's my dad
but
because
it's just so
no, it's
that's
funny
like an
because
every town
no, no,
story that it's like I'm not even sure if it's real at this point
no.
anymore. But
I,
apparently
I
some
call
people
it.
have seen it.
I call it. That's my dad because my dad would do that. Era bien malo, mi papá era bien travieso. So he was telling me today, just today, he said he would wear his nice, cuando like le caía gordo a la gente o para asustar a la gente, he would do that. He had a black horse and he would put on his black dress up really nice and wear a big old sombrero. He's like, I will wear the big sombrero, and then I would get the chain, and then at midnight I would go by their house with that chain and go really, and then I would get my horse really with nice, like really good horseshoes so it can make really loud
Mhm.
noise, and I would just go with that chain arrastrando la cadena para que aviente sparks and everything. I was like, oh my god, really,
That's
you would do
hilarious.
that?
See,
He's like, yeah, I would do that.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, I think it's just someone dressing up. Because I
That's why I
mean,
said it's my dad.
in small people are very superstitious in small
Yes.
towns. Like let's
Yeah.
be honest. So, un alguien aventado, like we say, who does that could probably pull it off.
Yeah, yeah, he would do that. He said, "I would wear everything black, and then I would wear my thing, and I would just arrastrar la cadena, would send sparks, and everybody would be, oh, el diablo, el diablo." He was telling me about that they where he lived in his rancho, that
Hmm.
they saw him a lot, that he would do it a lot of times, that even the people went to the priest and told him, ay, es que allá arriba en el monte vemos, we see the devil, we see the devil. So they put a Virgin Mary over there. And then like I'm saying, like 10 years ago, my grandma passed away, my dad's mom, and they went to go.
Hmm.
He went over there and buried her and everything. And then there was a little old lady, and she's like, "Hijo de tu chingada madre." Los otros creyendo que era el diablo y eras tú, mendigo. She just found out. She just found out it was
That's
him,
right.
like by talking to everybody. We made
Actually, I did had one experience, and there I met this lady in Mexico, and I used to go to the plaza all the time just to sit there and chat with her. And she was trying to convince me to give her a reading because her parents passed away, and she's been wanting to hear from them. And then some lady came, like she was panicking, she was scared, and she's like, "Señora, ayúdame, help me, help me, help me." And she's talking about all this paranormal activity in her house. Her daughter was going to college, and on her way to college, she got into a car accident. And she's in crutches, and she can't walk. And she said, and I keep finding this white substance in my house. And I'm listening, and this lady is explaining all these things and everything. And all of a sudden, everything like got suspended. Like for some reason, time just didn't feel like it was moving. And they both stopped, and they both looked at me. And they're like, "Do you have something to say?" I was like, "Did you receive either a Virgin Mary de Guadalupe or a San Judas Tadeo, St. Jude, as a gift?" And she's like, "Yes." I was like, "The person that gave that to you, they actually put a spirit inside there. It's a hollow statue. So they were able to put a spirit there, and that spirit is causing all this paranormal activity." And she's like, "But how do I get rid of it?" I was like, "Throw it out, destroy it."
Yeah.
But of course,
Qué malo tíralo al río.
as good Catholics,
They don't want to do it.
That's a sacrilege.
Yeah.
We don't do that. I was like, this is what you do. Go find a replica of it, purchase that one, grab the one they gave you, destroy that one, and then put the one you purchase.
Yeah.
That way, that person, when she visits you, she will still think that the spirit is still doing all these mischievous things.
Yeah.
But then I started telling her all this stuff about her life. I was like, "It looks like your daughter is probably going to medicine school or something." She's like, yeah. I was like, "This person does not like your family. You have made so much progress that they want to stop you." So they went out to someone so they can put a spirit inside a vessel, so they can so it lives there.
Yeah.
And the lady, la bruja, the witch, she had no idea people could do that.
Yeah, there's a lot
And
of.
I'm like,
Oh,
"You've been a bruja all your life, and you didn't
that's
know
why
that?"
I don't really like figures. I'm more of an iconography. I'm more Eastern Orthodox on that aspect. But yeah, I've heard of stuff like that que le ponen maldición a los santos. But I've never met anyone in particular who has had that experience. I've heard about it, but I've never met anyone
Well,
with
in my
that case.
experience, because I have already read a book on necromancy, so I knew you can't really curse an object. But if it's hollow, you can give them a residence inside that object. And obviously, all these things that are made of barro,
Mhm.
what's barro?
Yeah.
It's just what.
Clay.
Yeah,
Most
anything that's
clay.
made out of clay, before you put it on
Clay.
the oven, it needs to be
Or
hollow inside.
what is it called? Terracotta? Ay, se me fue.
Well, it was made out of clay.
Terracotta?
Most of those statues
Yeah.
are made out of clay, but they're hollow inside.
It was made of clay.
So
Yeah,
I'm like, they
terracotta.
put a spirit in there. I'm like, most objects cannot really be haunted, but a spirit can attach to them.
Yes.
So they put actually a spirit in there so it can live there, so it will cause harm when you're not paying attention. So she said she went home because I saw the lady the following week before me returning, and I was sitting with La Bruja, and I don't know why I call her Bruja, because I feel like I knew more than she did. I was like, I feel more brujo than she is.
Well,
but anyways.
Not an experienced bruja, but still a bruja.
It's because everybody went to her. She had all the rosaries, all this stuff. She had a little post out in the plaza, and she will sell there from like 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m. So she will sit there and sell her stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think she became she became a believer of me when I told her that your mother passed away and she's been trying to contact you by just showing you this signs. And I started describing certain paranormal activity in her house. That's when she's like, yes, all that has been happening and I would like you to connect with her. But for some reason, my spirit guides wouldn't let me give her a reading. And I do not know why. And to this day, I still don't know why.
Because there's sometimes the spirits don't want to they don't want to, maybe she has a lot of things that are going into, a lot of negativity or a lot of doubts or a lot of anger or a little bit of everything, all that. That's
but
why.
All I was going to do is just bring a message from her parents.
Yeah, but
I was just going to bring a message to give to her, but I think the reason they stopped me is probably because I was going to open up.
Yeah.
And something could attach to me.
Yeah.
And I that's my theory as of now, but it's like her parents are good people because I can feel them, but it's the opening up to let them in.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
The negativity might connect to you or something, it doesn't want you to open it up so you can't, para que no se te pegue a ti, doesn't get stuck on you, the negativity.
Probably.
Because that's what my grandma would tell me. It's like, just be careful. Always, she would tell me all the time, always when you do a reading or when you do something like that, always have, that's why I always have my San Benito with me all the time. Always have your San Benito with you. Have it with you all the time because, that will protect you for
I have these things.
The negativity doesn't connect to you, come back to, because sometimes the negativity of another person can get stuck to you.
See, I have these things, my seals of Solomon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's another one. Here's
nice.
that one.
No.
This is one of my favorites, but it's like fading.
Yeah.
So I have that. Carry those things around. They're not activated, so I don't know how to activate, amulets or things like that. So
there should be some sort of switch in there, like turn on and off. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Is there a light switch? Here's a remote.
Yeah.
Here's the witch remote. Yeah. Well, that is it for me for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do have to I have a project to do for school. I'm an old man, but I'm still going to school.
Me too. I haven't done anything.
At work, they think I'm still like 24, 25. I'm like, no, I'm old. Betsy wants to know, do you have any crystals for protection?
Young.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Do any of you use crystals for protection? I do have them. I like them.
Not really. I just have what is it called? Cuarzo? That's all I have, but that's mostly just for energy. That's mostly.
Like a battery?
Not really. What do you mean with the battery? No, I don't do the battery.
No, like a battery. Like it charges you or takes out all the negative energy and absorbs
gives me the charges. Yeah, sometimes like I use that. But no, not really. Not really. Crystals, not really.
No, not really either. I mean, I know some crystals. My friends know crystal meth, but that's not the crystal I'm sure she wants to know about. And however, there is a question that she asked Betsy that if you've seen or felt spirits since childhood. I just saw it. I was like, oh, I didn't see it. Yes. Apparently, when I graduated from kindergarten, Just gonna say this real quick. Apparently, well, my younger brother, he was a newborn, and my parents were not at home, and I went into the bedroom to see him, check on him. I don't remember this. This is the weird part. But my parents say that when they arrived, I ran out of the bedroom like completely scared, like pale white. And when they asked me, "What did you see? Why are you so scared?" Apparently, I said some tall, dark man with red eyes, but I don't remember it happening. So that's really weird. I've seen some sort of like shadow people, but not like shadow people like you explained, Greg, but like more like from my peripherals. You see these shadows that they kind of like just like sneak around the corner, like to look at me, or I see them on my peripheral, but when I look around, like poof, they're gone. Um. So yeah, those are some of my experiences, and we tend to, well, like this is actually my whole family. Whenever we dream about deceased people, someone's gonna die. It's the lay, like it's a law at this point in our families. So it's really creepy because even my dad he's very strong with this kind of I don't
Believe.
know what you will call it. He has this tiene este don. He has
Hold the gift.
this gift, if you can really call it a gift, that whenever he dreams about my grandparents, he's like, "Uh oh, bad news, someone's gonna go." And eventually, yeah, pasan días o una semana, someone leaves this world. Really
Wow.
scary.
I usually feel the Grim Reaper, but I've never talked about it, mention it, or anything because sometimes you just have to let life happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we just like, well, whatever has to happen.
And I think that that is absolutely the only guarantee we have in this life is our death. And
Yeah.
I've said that to many people that are like, "Oh, my third eye is opening. I'm becoming spiritual." I was like, the first thing you know you're becoming spiritual is when you have accepted your mortality. That's
Yep.
like once you learn to accept that and you learn to understand that that's the only guarantee we have in life, that's like the door opening to the road of spirituality. I
Yeah.
still struggle with that once in a while. It's like I don't want to die yet, but it's like I know I am.
Like it has to happen, honey. Yeah, I know.
You know. So
Just
I
delay
think
it a little bit. Give me
right.
a little bit more time.
Give me all these years, maybe 100 more. I don't care if I'm 150 and dying in pain, but I I I want to see when the aliens come.
Right. Like I at least want to see like something like that, like one like huge historical event or something like that. That's all I ask for.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't really ask for that because I was around for September 11, and that's a big historical event. I was like, no,
Yes.
a bigger one, like when aliens
Yeah.
show up and they're like, "Hi, people, we come in peace." I was like, okay, that's pretty historical. You know, like the Bible says, the big old white light came from the sky and the angels walked out. That kind of historical alien stuff, I want to see.
Right, like that's the good stuff. Like I wanna see that,
Right?
but then, you never know.
Yeah. So, fans, people. So we're gonna do this for the rest of the month. We're gonna tell more ghost stories. I will come up with a couple more. I was gonna read one that when I first heard it as a kid, it kind of creeped me out. It was not really a ghost story, but it had something creepy about it. It comes from a children's book, but of course, it's scary because it was written in the 80s.
Mm.
Nowadays, if it's scary, it's a bunch of kids running around in costumes presented to you by Coco Melon. Or the best one, Peppa Pig. But don't make fun of her because I watched that.
Oh my god.
It's like
La
she is
Pepa cochina o la cochina
she's
Pepa.
incredibly rude, and I love it. Peppa Pig. Yeah. So, all right, you guys.
All right.
Well, that's it for me. And my mom's.
All right.
You
Yeah,
can
I
see
heard your
her in the
mom.
back. Yes.
Yes.
Me
Take
está
it easy.
corriendo.
Yes.
Ay, ya me está corriendo. All righty.
All
Ya
right.
cállate. Take it easy.
All right. Bye, everyone. I will see you
Bye.
guys. Actually, let me go to the. All right, you guys. So that's it for tonight because we can talk forever for hours. And thank you for joining us. And please don't be scared. We're still alive. We're not ghosts. Please join us. Don't be afraid to call in. So the lines will be open. The same deal. Very bottom of the description is the link for you to join us. Or maybe I should move it up. I don't know. But it's going to be a different link. Because, you know, the trolls are out there.
Every week is a different link.
Yeah, every week's a different link. For the rest of the month, we're going to be telling ghost stories. Today we had a lot of technical difficulties. That's why we started late. And that's why the stream died and was born again.
That's crazy.
Starting November, we're probably going to bring back the tarot talk. But it's not going to be like every week. I'm planning to do it like, I don't know, a few times. I do want to talk about other esoteric topics, you know, like spiritual fasting, or when did you get into this kind of stuff, and have people come in, talk astrology, the Kabbalah, the Hermetics and stuff like that. So if we have nothing to talk about, we go back to the tarot.
I know.
So, anyways, I am done for tonight. I have a school project to do, which I'm going to do right now. Can you believe that? School project at 10 o'clock at night.
I have a lot of homework to do, and I have to do it right now.
I know. We're old men still going to school. But you know what? I do it for the discounts.
Yeah.
Because I do not pay for Hulu right now because of my student discount.
Your student discount?
And Spotify, I think Spotify is like $10. I only pay $4 because of the student discount.
So Hulu gives you a student discount?
Through Spotify. So you pay for Spotify and they give you Hulu and Showtime free with your student ID.
Which I don't have a student
And yes, they do run a check with the school to make sure you are enrolled in taking a class. And they check every semester. They'll send a signal to the school, and the school sends it back to make sure you're still enrolled.
Oh my God, really?
So you cannot just be like, here's my student ID. I haven't gone to school in 10 years. No, it's not going to work. No.
Yeah.
The only place that you can say you're still a student and still get a discount is with Apple. Just don't tell anybody I said that. You just go to the student page, order your products, and you get, I don't know, it's like 10% or something like that. It's like $50 off or something like that of Apple products. So if you use your student discount. But yes, I do it for the discounts and for the knowledge. So yeah, it's cinematography. So I got to get the camera off and start production like in 5 minutes. I'm going to use my mom as an actress. So we'll see how that thing ends up. All right, Nick. God. Hi. So we're sorry. We're getting off the live. And if I don't turn it off right now, I will continue for another hour.
He's going to continue talking.
Right? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll see you guys next Friday. I might throw in another show in the middle of the week. I'm not sure. Maybe Thursday. En Español. Right. I don't know. Tell me people what you think. Okay, just let me know.
What do you guys want to do? What should we do?
Like I don't want to have alternating days because that just confuses everybody. So it's like Thursday could be Spanish and Friday English, and I'm gonna have to find a way to make time. But those of you that are still here, thank you so much. And I will see you either Thursday, but for sure Friday.
Friday for sure.
Friday for sure for more ghost stories. So you guys, if you have any, write them down, get them ready. I would love to hear them. I know I look a little distracted, but I'm still listening because I got headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
Betsy,
no,
thank you so much. Don't forget to share the love with your friends so they can call in.
call in.
Yeah,
It's free.
it's free. Yeah, it's totally free
It's
until I
free.
run out
You
of
don't have to
interview minutes.
interview minutes.
No, they
Oh
do
no.
give me a limit on interview minutes
Oh
for the
really?
whole year, but I only do this once or twice a week, so I'll have them. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks
Au
for the
revoir.
love.
See you later. Bye.
Goodbye.